In this video, we're going to look at the letters that have final forms and intermediate forms. The intermediate forms are found in the middle of words, and the final forms are found at the end of words. So the first thing we have is this letter here, Chaf. It's important, it's got a rounded bottom and a rounded top. In its final form, it looks like that. So it loses its rounded top, and it looks like that. You can also write it like so. That's Chaf in its final form. These are called bent letters, because what's happened here is, if you imagine this part here becomes limp, right? It becomes limp and it hangs down. You end up with the hanging down part. Okay, here it is here, which is that. And it's curled up, tucked in, right, to give us that. So, Chaf, tucked in, and at the end of a word, limped. This here is the actual more ancient form, and in some Hebrew religious documents, such as a bill of divorce, this form is still used. Mem has a final form. Here it is in its intermediate form, like so. It has a sharp corner here. This is very important. A mem has a sharp corner, and in its final form, sharp corners. This is what distinguishes it from the letter Samech, which has got a rounded shape. Right. Sometimes in printed text you will find that only one corner is properly rounded, and one is sharp. This is still a mem, because mem is defined by the sharp corner. Final mem, mem in the middle of a word. So here's our mem in the middle of a word, in its rounded form, in its more sharp form, and end of a word, like so. A little box with an overhang. That's mem. Nun in the middle of a word can be written like so, or it can be written with a longer base. If you imagine this becoming limp, let's do that. It's becoming limp and it hangs down, and you end up with that. And in fact, that is our final nun. Pe and fe in the middle of a word. In the middle they are like so. Once again, this here becomes limp and hangs down, giving us our final pe, which looks like so. You can have a slight overhang here if you wish, and you could simplify it just like that. Right, it has a rounded edge. Sometimes it's formed like this as well, like that. That's our final pe, and our intermediate pe is rounded, is bent up like so. Tzadi, I'll do it here. Here's our intermediate tzadi, which looks like that. If you imagine this here becoming limp and straightening up, you end up with a straight, and then this side stroke is still here, and there it is. So that's our tzadi at the end of a word, and our tzadi in the middle of a word. And that's it really for our letters that have final forms. In Rashi script, they're pretty much the same. So I'll just do a little line here. In the Ketav Rashi, the main difference is Tzadi in the middle of a word is like that, and Tzadi at the end of a word is like that in Rashi script. And Mem in the middle word in the Rashi script is like that, and Mem at the end of a word in Rashi script is like that, and Samech in Rashi script is the same as Mem, but it has a little leg. This is Samech, that's Mem at the end of a word in Rashi script, and this is a Rashi Mem in the middle of a word. Nun in Rashi script is pretty much the same. Final Nun in Rashi script is pretty much the same as well, which is like that. Pei in Rashi script is quite similar as well. So we have Pei like so, and then the final Pei in Rashi script is like that, and sometimes this touches like that. And that's pretty much, I think, covered all the ground there between the Ketav Rashi and the standard square script for the intermediate and the final letters.